Have you ever wished you could just take an image and upload it to Omnivex and have it appear on screen, say between 9 and 9:15, and then vanish, and then never have to touch the scheduler again? I'm about to show you a really cool workflow that can make that happen. Here we are in Omnivex's quicklinks. Those of you who aren't using it, it's a really amazing tool to help you delegate some of your responsibilities. All right, let's jump right into it. We're going to start edit messages. I'm just going to jump into my front entrances here. You can see I've got an image that's already uploaded. If you were the area administrator and you had a new image to upload that you need to appear on the screen, the way you actually do that is by simply going add from drive. You're going to find the file. I'm going to use a test file that I happen to have here, test image, open. And then you can see we've got some metadata that's associated with it. Start date, the end date, the start time, the end time, and the location. So if you're a low-level user, this might seem really easy and familiar to you. All you're really doing is you've got an image that you're uploading, you're picking a start date, a calendar is going to appear. Maybe it starts today and ends today. Starts at 9:41, that's fine. Ends at 13:41, that's also okay. It's going to play on the entrances. Maybe that's the screen that's right beside you. You click add. And now that image is going to appear on the screen on this date, starting at this time, ending on that time, in the location that you specified. And that's all there is to it, as far as they're concerned. But what have you done in the background to make all this happen? Let's talk about that right now. The first thing you've done is you've made sure that adding that metadata is a required field. Let's start going to our define messages. I'm going to go back into the manage the zones of that one we were just in, edit. Let's go skip all through this. These stuff doesn't really matter. What I really want to talk about here is select metadata to associate with the zone. We want to require the metadata, and we're selecting these things, the end date, the start date. And scroll down here, the location, end time, start time. So I'm requiring all this data to be entered and tagged onto the image that they're uploading. All right, now let's jump into Omnivex and see how an image with metadata associated to it can be manipulated with rules. All right, now we're back in Omnivex Moxie Studio. And you can see here we've got a playlist. And inside this playlist, what I've got is a gallery. Those of you who aren't familiar with galleries, a gallery is just a folder with a bunch of images in it. So you can imagine what those area administrators are doing is they're using quicklinks to upload files with metadata associated to them into a folder, which I'm then turning into a gallery. And inside that gallery, I have a few playback settings. They're pretty simple playback settings. They play alphabetically, and they play for 20 seconds at a time, and a fade. The cool thing about this is that Omnivex will just play them all in a loop. So even though it says it's only going to play for 20 seconds, if it's the only image, it's going to play uninterrupted all the time. It's just going to keep playing over and over and over again. If, and this is a big if it's allowed to play based on the rules associated with it. So we gave every item a bunch of metadata. And you can see based on these rules here, I've added this item, and that's the item that's about to play. Is its start time less than or equal to the current time? Is its end time greater than or equal to the current time? Is its start date? Is its end date? Is its location? So if all these rules equal true, the image is allowed to play. So that's why you're avoiding the scheduler. Instead of scheduling something to play at noon, you're simply saying metadata says that start time is noon, end time is 1. And when the rules check this, if that equals true, the image is displayed. So that's halfway there. So you're probably thinking, okay, that's great if I've got television screen which has nothing on it, and then at noon all of a sudden there's one image appears. That'll work. What's it going to play the rest of the time? Let's talk about how I've set up the layouts to make sure that a playlist is always playing and then just interrupted by these images that we're uploading. Okay, let's jump into the layout designer now. Here's a really basic layout. All this layout is two playlists. Those of you who don't know, you can take a playlist and drop it into a layout. In fact, you can even drop another layout into a layout. But what I've set up here is pretty basic. I simply have a playlist that's filling the entire screen here and playing in a loop all day. And I've got this other playlist on top of it. That's the one that's being uploaded from quicklinks. So what happens if I mute this current playlist? Well, it goes black. Why is it black? Well, it's not actually black. It's just transparent. There's nothing in this playlist which satisfies the rules associated with it. Or maybe there's no images in there at all. So we can leverage the fact that by default, when there's nothing inside a playlist, it simply plays nothing or something that's transparent to put something underneath it, which we can see all day, every day. So now you can see how this workflow works. The user simply goes into quicklinks, adds their file from the drive, associates metadata to it, and adds it. The cool thing is once it's actually uploaded, you can actually change this. So maybe they've already added a file, and it's supposed to start at 9:41. They're like, oh no, it's not supposed to start at 9:41. It's supposed to start at 8:41. We can make that change associated with the metadata. We don't have to do anything to the scheduler. So to reiterate, they've uploaded a file. They've said its start time, its end time, its date, where it's going to play. And then in the background, Omnivex is basically saying, okay, I'm going to keep playing this all the time unless something in this playlist satisfies these rules, in which case it will appear over top. So instead of scheduling something, all you have to do is take the player and assign this one layout, and that's all you have to do. No scheduling required. And that's a really cool workflow to avoid ever going into the schedule builder ever again.